What's up, chess player? Have you ever played an online chess game on an actual 3D game? Well, I'm playing chess for 20 years and I have never done it, but I'm about to do. I have here a Chessnut Air chessboard, electronic chessboard. The guys from Chessnut have contacted me and asked me whether I can make a review, and I felt like a kid who is about to get a new toy because I have never even seen a thing like this, so I feel very excited to try it and tell you my opinion, whether it's worth it, whether it's interesting, whether it helps you to improve your chess. So let's get started. Welcome, I'm the journeytograndmaster, the place where you can improve every aspect of your chess game, and today is a very special video. We make a product review of this interesting device, I would call it like that. I mean, the chessboard that you can connect to your computer and actually play on Lichess or on chess.com with an actual chessboard. I mean, that feels incredibly exciting for me. So I'm gonna just try to open it up. I mean, the packaging itself feels incredible. That that is not what you expect. Oops, that was an annoying sound. That is not what you expect, like for a normal chessboard. I have never seen a chessboard packaged that beautifully. Let's see what we get in the packaging here. Don't need that. That is there. And let's the magic happen. Wow. Yeah, that really feels like something special here. So first of all, we have a quick guide, which I feel I'm gonna need because, like I said, I'm a chess professional. I'm playing chess like for 20 years, but I have never had anything to do with devices like that. But here is what we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully I'm gonna be smart enough to figure out how it works. We have the pieces itself. First of all, I see this USB cable. So that is how we are gonna connect the chessboard to the laptop, and hopefully it's gonna work. I have no idea what to expect from it, but I can show you the pieces. To tell you the model, it's Chessnut Air, like the cheapest one that they have. They have a variety of them, but I can see that the pieces feel pretty great here. Maybe I can show you the whiteboard, and hopefully you're gonna see some B-roll as well to get a better understanding of what the pieces are looking like. So okay, here we have all of the pieces. I want to really get to the actual board as well. It's not that simple. I have a lot of stuff here. Wow. I mean, that looks like you're unpackaging a new smartphone instead of a chessboard. That is something unusual. Wow, that's tough. The first thing I felt when I was getting the packaging that it's really heavy. I feel now, yeah, the board is really heavy. So it feels like you are holding something special in your hands. I can see that it's pretty small, so it's gonna be quite possible to take it with you if you're going somewhere. And yeah, I'm gonna paste somewhere here how much it is actually how heavy it actually is. The purpose of my video here to share my emotions with you, because of course you can read all of the technical specs, you can see what it's capable of, the functionality, but I can show you what you can actually achieve with it and share with you my opinion whether it can actually be beneficial. So here it is. We have here all of the connections, all of the buttons. Okay, we actually have the USB cable to charge the chessboard. I have never in my life thought I'm gonna say that I'm gonna charge the chessboard. And to connect it to computer, I guess we just need the Bluetooth. We don't have any cables for that. That is new age, so to say. We are connecting a chessboard to a computer. Okay, so here how it looks like. It has those indications that is gonna help us to understand when our opponent makes a move, because that was the difficult part for me. I thought, okay, the pieces are connected and the internet understands where the pieces are, similar to a GGT board, which I'm pretty much used to play in the tournament. When you see that broadcast of the chess tournament, that is how it works. The board is connected. By the way, you have quite a lot of cables there. It's never like happening with Bluetooth or happening on air. You have a lot of cables there everywhere, and it sees where the pieces are, and when you move it, of course, it tracks it. But here the question is how you see that your opponent makes a move. That is difficult. So let's say your opponent is playing here and he plays e4, then you're gonna see, as far as I understand, here and here the indications from and where the pieces is going. So of course I'm gonna show you all of that. I just need a little bit of time to figure out how it all works, connect it, and then I'm gonna be back playing a real chess game online, but on an actual board. Okay, so I'm all set up. I have discovered hopefully how it all works, and I really hope it's gonna work this time. So all I need to do is switch on the board, first of all, so that it's working, and yes, it makes a sound. So I hope it should work now. I should press also this button, which means, yeah, like a new game. Now I need to connect it to chess.com, and I'm creating a new challenge, 15 minutes, rapid chess. Let's hope that an opponent will come, and we are gonna play against a real human being online on chess.com using a real chessboard. I mean, that even sounds impossible to me when I say those words, but I'm really curious to try it. Let's hope that we are gonna find an opponent. Yeah, okay, we have one, and I'm playing as black. So the question is, yes, I even see the move. So I see here the A2 and A4 button, and I can make the move on the board. And now when I make my move, let's say I play D6, hopefully, yes, the move is making on the board. Perfect, so we can really play a game. D4. The only thing I don't have on a real board, of course, is the clock situation. So I need to keep an eye a little bit from time to time what happens to the clock. But for now, let's play. Our opponent plays A4. I mean, I'm very excited to figure out how it's gonna work. I mean, that is truly amazing. Knight to C3. I can say that those indications work perfectly. I can, without a problem, identify what my opponent makes a move. I don't need to ever take a look at the board. Like I said, the only thing that matters here is the clock. Otherwise, I can fully play on this board. Okay, so we have some kind of a Philidor defense here, but with the move A4 very early on played. By the way, in the Philidor defense, White plays A4 so often that it's very normal, but well taken on E5 is not really a problem for me, because now I open up my bishop here. The only drawback of this chess is that I can't draw any arrows for you on the board like I normally like to do. But on the other way, you see me playing a real chessboard. I mean, that is amazing. So from the size of the board, I would probably prefer a bigger size, because, well, that is the normal chessboard I'm used to in the tournament, at home as well. This one is rather small, but it's big enough to still allow me to think about the position, to really normally play a chess game without even having any difficulties. Just a little bit unusual. That's a habit of a professional chess player. Okay, so I do the castles. Yeah, the castles are also working. I'm curious, what happens if I actually make an impossible move, or I don't know, something crazy is going on, whether it's gonna break or what's gonna happen in this case. I assume if I make an impossible move, like going with a pawn from c7 to c4, the real move will just not be made, and that would be all she wrote. But Yeah, I'm not gonna try it now. Okay, so c6 is a very important move in the all kinds of Philidor defense, just to make sure that d5 and b5 squares are secured. Also, I need to take a look at the screen if I want to know who my opponent is. In this case, it's around 1900 rated player. So let's see, it's gonna be interesting. We have a lot of time. For some reason, my opponent doesn't really want to take a lot of time to think. It's okay, as long as he doesn't blunder. Okay, this guy I immediately want to attack, so let me play h6. I also see the indication when I make a move. I guess I needed to make sure that my move, I made it correctly, that everything is great, just confirming for me. I guess it's also a useful feature. Okay, how do I continue? Because yes, my position is incredibly solid, but I also need to find a way to go on because I want to outplay my opponent, and his position so far is incredibly solid. Let me play rook e8 because development is always the key to success, so that is what I am doing here. And yeah, everything looks completely normal on the board. I mean, that is the feeling that I'm actually playing on a real game, and on a real board, it feels like I'm just playing with myself here. I can't imagine that there is actually a real human being playing on the other side of the board. That is unbelievable for me. Okay, knight goes to e2. That is actually a good strategy because the knight on c3 is not doing much. It has no prospects going forward, and if he remaneuvers to g3, normally it means that the knight is going to be very strong, going towards f5, but in this particular case, he doesn't really have any opportunity to play knight to g3 because of g5, and I'm gonna just win a piece. Unless he wants to sacrifice the piece on g5, like knight g3, I play g5, knight takes g5, pawn takes, bishop takes g5, and then this knight is coming to f5, then the queen is coming. That attack might be really, really dangerous. I'm not sure what my bishop is exactly doing on b4 anymore. Maybe it's time for me to bring it back, but if I bring it to e7, it blocks my rook, which is also not ideal. Maybe I play queen c7 for now, because if I do that, knight g3, g5, if he sacrifices a piece, I do have a way. Yeah, no, also not that great. Maybe knight f8 would be a good move, because I want to remaneuver my knight towards g6 with a tempo and maybe prepare the move g5. Yeah, that is something I like, because I'm gonna have more space. My bishop is going to be open. By the way, bishop g4 is now on my agenda. Okay, my opponent plays c3, which is pushing my bishop away. So where should it go? If I go to c5, which seems like a desirable square, then he's gonna continue pushing the pawns with b4. So c5 is not great. Maybe d6, because e7 is basically impossible. My pawn is going to be lost. So let me place it on d6. Yeah, maybe I should have played a5, because that is a very typical move in the Philidor defense, just to stop those b4 ideas. Okay, queen goes to c2. Yeah, his position is very solid. I mean, I can't say anything at all. But I guess it's time for me to launch my attack, to play g5, otherwise what we are doing here. Or maybe bishop g4. Bishop g4 is also interesting. Because I'm attacking the knight, I definitely want to take it to compromise white's pawn structure. And the king is going to be exposed. How does he react to bishop g4? I guess knight d2, because he has no way to defend the knight. But then, yeah, I haven't really achieved anything. Knight is going towards c4 via d2, so it doesn't really help me. I'm gonna play g5. I'm gonna launch my attack. By the way, it's pretty common idea in the Philidor defense. If white is not active enough, if white is not doing anything extreme, like you can see here, white is not really attacking on any part of the board, then black has a chance to attack on the king side. Yeah, so now the knight g6, very logical next step. I guess I'm doing well in terms of time. Yeah, my opponent has 5 minutes more, because seems like he doesn't want to think about his moves. Probably people are just too strong on 1900 level, so he doesn't need any time to process his ideas. But, well, I guess we are good on time for now. So my knight is going towards f4, obviously, and h4, h5, h4 ideas should be on my agenda. By the way, h5 is actually a threat right now, because yes, g5 pawn is hanging, but I can still play h4 afterwards and win the bishop. So yeah, now my opponent is starting to think. I mean, as I don't have any experience at all, that's literally my first ever game in my life on such a board. When I don't see anything, my opponent is just thinking, obviously, but for me, I feel like, okay, maybe something is wrong, maybe something doesn't work, and I need to take a look at the screen just to make sure that my opponent's time is ticking and I haven't missed anything. But I guess this feeling goes away as you start playing more games. Okay, knight's going to d2 anyway, so I guess I can play h5. There is absolutely nothing stopping me from doing that. I also have g4. Yeah, knight d2 is actually a smart move, because now when I play h5 and he plays h3, I don't really have the move g4, because he's gonna play h4 and completely close the entire thing. Or maybe it's not that bad. If I remove my knight from f6, then I'm attacking that h4 square twice with my knight and with my queen. Hopefully you can follow my variation, because I have no way to draw the arrows here. But I do like the move h5. Let me go for it. I mean, you can see that the position is pretty close, so my opponent doesn't really have any way to punish me for this attack. Yeah, f3 is actually a good move. I mean, the pawn structure is very solid. Yes, I can go forward, but he's gonna be pretty secure. And if I play g4 at any point, then he might even open up the f file, and his rook would be very great there. Also, if I play g4 and he takes, I'm gonna have knight takes, and then knight e3 is very, very annoying for him. Just need to be very careful with my f7 pawn. Alternatively, I can just play... Okay, I'm back. I have lost a few minutes because my camera went crazy, my laptop shut down. It's not connected to the board itself, it's just too complicated for my laptop to handle. So in the meantime, I have continued my attack with h-pawn. It's all the way to h4, as you might see it. And my knight is on h5. I wanted to play knight f4, but I didn't want to play knight g to f4, because in that case, my h4 pawn is not going to be protected. Now my opponent made the last move, rook f to d1, and he is probably wanting to somehow attack me. I have a little bit more than 5 minutes, so I guess I need to continue my attack. Let me play just knight f4. And by the way, in the meantime, I have reconnected my chess.com board, because I needed to make sure everything is working. And the board actually hasn't disconnected. So even if your internet breaks and you need to close your browser and then open it again, you can still continue the game. That is pretty amazing, because my first instinct was, well, now everything is going to be broken and I can't continue the video. And yeah, now I see that the moves are still working. So I'm very happy about that. It's really great. Because that is, of course, the question for you. Like, you're playing a game, everything is great, but then, I don't know, the internet stops working, what's going on? But you can actually reload everything, even restart the computer entirely if you still have your time on the clock. That is, of course, very important. And then you are still able to continue your game. So I actually am not sure that I made the right decision. I took here with a g pawn to be able to play queen h5, but now I'm not sure that's the right thing. If my opponent plays h3, maybe I have to play h3 right now, just to make sure that he doesn't play h3. Yeah, let me do it. And I have to say, for a 1900 rated player, my opponent is playing extremely strong here. Okay, so he can take on d6, I take it back, I'm not afraid of any discover checks. The most important thing for me was to play h3, but now I'm noticing he can just play bishop f1, protecting the g2, and then my bishop on d6 is under attack. That would be really dangerous for me. Okay, should I take on g3? Just to make sure he doesn't play g4. And then I only need to sacrifice a pawn if I want to continue the attack. Probably I should go for it. Yeah, let me take. Because my main idea is not to allow him to close the king side completely. What am I doing on time? Okay, I still have 5 minutes. So that's essential. Also, if bishop takes, I have bishop takes. I have bishop to c5 check, and that helps me to somehow avoid this d file problem, because afterwards I can play queen to g5. Let me do it. I don't like that in the end of the day my opponent still can play b4, because I never played that move a5. I never had a time for it. f2 back. Yeah, now I have another check, queen to g5. And that is actually very dangerous, because I have queen g2. No, bishop f2 is not the move he would have played. He should have played king h1 and then something, rook g1, bishop f2 and rook g1 then, because now I have a check. And the most important thing is he doesn't have those two moves to play king to h1 and rook g1. That is why he must play king f1. But that means, first of all, his rook is not going to g1 anytime soon. And secondly, I can still play queen g2 check. Yeah, queen g2 seems to be a great move, putting a lot of pressure on his position. Now king e2 is not possible because the bishop is hanging, so he has to go here. I have knight f4 jump, but I don't think it gives me anything, because my bishop is hanging. My opponent would be able to take the bishop. And yeah, it's still not that simple, because I can't afford losing a bishop, and if I take on f2, then queen takes, and yeah, his queen guards everything, the f3 pawn, the h2 pawn. If I do sacrifice and play queen takes h2 with an idea to promote my h-pawn, he takes the bishop on c5, I play queen h1 check, king goes to d2 probably, I play queen, no, I can never promote my pawn because he has two rooks there guarding. But I can, instead of exchanging the bishops, I can also play bishop e7 with an idea to play bishop h4 or bishop g5, because his dark squares are very weak. And also f3 pawn is hanging, so I'm gonna go for it. Yeah, so far I really like to play on this board. That is how I feel now. It's, of course, I understand it's partially because it's the first ever experience for me in my entire life, and I play chess like for 20 years or almost 20 years now, and that is why it feels so exciting to try a completely new way to play online chess. I mean, that is the abnormal thing here, because of course I have played hundreds, thousands of games on a real chessboard, but never without an opponent which is actually making moves. It's like crazy. It doesn't fit my normal understanding of the world, of how the world works, and that is what makes it amazing. But if you like, if I think when and where it could be useful for you, using such a setup to play on the real board against online opponents, I think about OTB tournaments, over the board tournaments. If you need to prepare for it and you want to get a feeling how it feels to play on a real chessboard, then this way you can actually practice without grabbing a real chess player, sit here and play against you. And yeah, that really helps, because especially during the corona pandemic, so many top players and actually all of the chess players had this problem that they have played so many online chess, and when the normal tournaments came back, they couldn't really handle it, because it was so unusual to play on a real chessboard. And this way you have actually the opportunity to do it. Okay, I'm wondering if queen h1 check actually makes sense, because king d2 is not a great move. I have bishop g5 check. So he can only play king g2, knight f4, yeah, just bishop takes f4, and queen g2 back, he's gonna also go back, so it doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna just grab a pawn for now. Okay, I have a little bit more than 3 minutes. Hopefully that's gonna be enough. Yeah, now that the pawn is not there anymore, I can play bishop g4, putting more pressure on his position. And I really want to finish my development. That would be cute. I mean, bishop g4, rook a to d8, and then I'm ready to attack. Queen e1 now. Well, yeah, now if I play queen h1 and he goes king d2 and I play bishop g5 check, he has king c2 and his king is pretty secure. But I guess I'm fine with going into the endgame, because I'm still a pawn up, right? Yeah, I have an extra pawn. Also, that is an f pawn, which is very difficult to make use of. So in general, when your opponent's king is such vulnerable, you don't want to exchange the queens. But I don't really think that I have a choice here because well, I have queen f6. Queen f6 is the only move to save the queens on the board. But then he plays king d2. He's ready to play rook f1 and attack my queen again. It's double-edged because once he places his rooks on g1 and f1, my king is very exposed. His king is going to be pretty secure on c2, and my king would have pressure. So I don't think I actually should avoid the queen straight. So let me play bishop to g4 instead. Now queen h1 is a threat. Yes, so he takes it. I'm going to take it back. And he plays rook d2. Yeah, now I have bishop g5 just to continue the attack, but he plays rook f2, and I need to go back now. On the other hand, my e5 pawn is hanging, so I have to be aware of that. But right now, I'm not sure he can take it, because I always have this bishop g5 attacking there, and yeah, I'm creating too many threats, so that's fine for now. And remember, development is always the key, so that is why I play rook a to d8. Now bishop g5 is an actual threat because the rook doesn't have any squares to still secure the bishop, and if he plays rook f2, I can take on d3. Still have, yeah, more than 2 minutes. My opponent has 13 minutes. I mean, come on, you're 1900 rated. You have a chance to play against an international master because, well, it says there on my account. Why don't you use this chance to really think about your moves? Because yeah, if you play that fast, you are giving yourself, you limit your self potential a lot. We do get that time for a reason. Okay, I feel like I can just grab another pawn. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't do that. And also notice that he's playing completely without his rook on a1. It's just not taking part in the game at all. And now I have got those connected passers along the e file and f file, and I can just play f5 and 4 if I have time. That should be devastating for white. He takes here. I thought I can just take with the bishop because in this case my rook gets open and I still protect the e5 pawn, securing my 2 pawns advantage. So you can see my opponent, even though he's low rated quite a lot, but he played the opponent very, very solid. He didn't really have any weaknesses, and I mean, I can't say anything wrong about his opponent. Yes, it wasn't that active. He wasn't really fighting for the advantage, but he has developed quite a lot of pieces and was very solid in the center. But then I started my attack, and he didn't really do anything against it, anything to stop it. Yes, he kind of launched a counterattack in the center. That was absolutely correct, and he had some good opportunities there using the d file, but in the right moment he failed to use it. Okay, so now I have some threats here. I have to speed up a little bit. So let me just put, wait, rook d7 is also coming. That is not that convenient. So maybe I play bishop c7, and then rook d7, I have knight, rook e7, exchanging the queens, the rooks. But yeah, I don't like it because the e5 pawn is going to be lost in the end of the day. I'm gonna just let him take, wait, I have 96, I have missed 96. So stupid. I'm losing an entire piece. Wow. Wow. How could I miss 96? That's incredible. I have only 1 minute, so I have to be really fast. I only see bishop c2, at least to... What am I losing? I'm still losing a piece, though, so it doesn't really help. But at least I exchanged the rooks. I mean, it feels like I want to exchange the rooks just to have those passers, but how could I have missed 96? It's such an obvious fork there in the middle of the board. I was always staring at the middle of the board and never actually thought that 96 is possible. So that means I couldn't have taken with a bishop there. I must have taken with the rook. I was so focused on not losing the e5 pawn that I actually lost my brilliant bishop. That is so horrible. Okay, let's see if I still have chances, because now I have less than a minute and my opponent has an extra piece. So I have to go forward, I have to be active. Those not double, but connected passwords is my only hope. Now if I play f4 and e4, that could save me. Okay, he's attacking the pawn. which is actually great because I have no real way to defend it. And I catch that. Okay, let me play f4 for now. Just a move with a tempo because, well, I don't have any real time. I'm wondering if I can catch the knight somehow. Right now, d6 is a square he wants to go, so maybe, yeah, but he's gonna go to h3, and then it's not great. Okay, then I have to go on with my pawns. That is my only chance. 1 second. I mean, of course, I can say that, well, I have played the game badly because I'm playing this board and I'm focusing on my experience playing it instead of the actual game, but, well, I shouldn't blunder like that, but no matter what happens. Okay, so my pawn is hanging, I don't have any way, I have to go forward. Now the question is, if I would be able to play f3, that could actually give me a little bit of chances. If he plays king e2, for example, I can still play knight e5, and then f3 is pretty much unstoppable. So I might be able to at least get those pawns to f3 and e3. And the bad thing is he still has his 2 bishops to cover all of the squares. But I don't know, maybe I'm gonna be able to trick him somehow. Bishop takes. Yeah, now I get actually what I want. Is the move f3 on the board. Now my knight can jump to f4. I can play e2 check, and then the king has to go to c2, and I'm cutting this away. What I don't like is, of course, that he can just play knight e4, controlling so many squares, sacrificing the piece if needed. That is, of course, devastating for me, but maybe he's not gonna do it. Let's see. No, he does it. I mean, he is playing absolutely fantastic for such a level. Okay, so if I play f2, actually, no, he just takes on g5, right? Don't achieve anything at all. Okay, I don't have any time as well. Let me play bishop f4. Obviously, the position is totally lost for me, but I still have some hopes for some tricks using those pawns. Maybe I should have played e2 though, because now after bishop g3 and e2 check, he's gonna play king e2. What I didn't like is when I play e2, king c2, bishop e3, he has bishop f2, just blocking everything, offering me the bishop's trade. Yeah. Well, let me bring my king closer. I want to be active there. Because if he exchanges and I take on f4, I have some threats. Yeah, he's very smart. Now I have to play f2. I mean, you're 1900s. You have to make a mistake at some point. Otherwise, why on earth do you have 1900? That doesn't make any sense. You need to. Yeah, he doesn't want to make any mistakes. That's actually very sad. Because now I don't have any opportunities. I have 20 seconds on the clock. What do I even do? Okay. Yeah, let me just step back for now. Yeah. That is absolutely not what I wanted to achieve in this game. My attack was great, I have won a pawn, everything was perfect, then I won a second pawn, and such a stupid... Oh, okay, he actually takes. Well, that means that I'm just 1 pawn down at the end of the day. That gives me a hope for making a draw. I have 20 seconds. But he has a pair of bishops and an extra pawn. That is much more than enough to win the game. Okay, my pawn is also hanging. And if I play a6, he plays... No. Okay, I have 7 seconds. Create a counter threat. I wanted to play knight e5, attacking the bishop, but he has just bishop d4. Yeah, b3, very good move. Okay, I can actually play b6 for now. It's not that bad yet. 17 seconds. Yeah, this time, of course, I need to keep an eye on the clock. Otherwise, I'm going to be deadly lost. So I have to occasionally look at the computer. And now that it changes the... Where should the king go? In f8, because king h6, he has bishop e3. King f7, he has bishop h5. And this way, at least, I avoid any exchanges for now, which is good. f5. Well, I have to take. That creates yet another weakness in my camp. It's not something I like. Let me play knight f4 check. Yeah, king d1. King d1 is now probably winning another pawn. I mean, how on earth are you so strong? That's just not fair. Now just bishop b6. No, bishop b6 I have knight d5, and bishop a5 I have knight a3. Maybe he's gonna go for it, and that would help him. But he has 13 minutes. I mean, that is so ridiculous. Not only I'm losing against a 1900 rated player, but he also actually haven't spent any time to think, and he doesn't want to blunder anything as well. That is very painful. Okay, I still have my trick. Now I'm really hoping and rooting for bishop b6, but because I'm gonna play knight d5, and then I'm attacking the bishop and want to play knight e3, and as a bonus, I'm attacking the h2 pawn. If I am able to win the h2 pawn, okay, he's going for it. That is my chance. Let me play knight d5. If I'm able to win the h2 pawn, I'm actually gonna be much closer to a draw, because he's not gonna have any distant passer, and then it's not gonna be that important that he has bishops, because his advantage is exactly because bishop is stronger when you have pawns on both sides of the board. If it's not gonna be the case, then it's simpler for me to make a draw. Well, it seems like I am winning the pawn here, because the bishop is hanging. You go, wait, you can play bishop g1. But then I still have bishop takes h2, bishop takes and knight e3. And hopefully I will survive there. Although he has bishop c7 at the end of the day, attacking my pawn. So not particularly great. But okay, that is my best chance. Maybe I can also play bishop e5 at some point, attacking the pawn on c3, and if he plays c4, okay, he goes to f2, then it all doesn't matter. But I guess I can just take the pawn, right? Yes, bishop d7 is not great. Okay, I have no time to think about it. Let me just go for it, because that is a passer. If I grab it, no matter what happens here, at least I have got a few chances. Maybe after bishop d7, I do have bishop e5 attacking the c3 pawn. The more pawns I exchange, the more chances I get. I mean, what a crazy game. 1900. Who could have guessed that he's gonna play that strong? Okay, now he plays bishop d4. I'm happy with an exchange. If he plays bishop e1, well, I can just defend the pawn or play c5. Okay, he takes. I guess he wants to make a draw, or maybe not, because, yeah, my second pawn is also hanging. Well, I don't really have any choice. My knight is under attack. But he can play bishop b6 now. And my hope should be to play knight e2, hoping for knight d4, that it's gonna work somehow. b1. Yeah, the same idea. The same idea. I have 17 seconds. Can I play a4? Trying to exchange everything. a4. That feels like a move to work. 6 seconds. I'm actually curious how fast the moves are making on the board. You probably can see it better than I. Wait, he probably has b4, right? And I don't have any way to save the pawn. Well, I actually only need to sacrifice... Okay, he goes for a draw. Yeah, then thank God I have saved this game. Being a piece down, that was horrible. Okay, the question is, how do I offer a drawing with such a board? I don't have any way to do that. I have to reach to my computer. It would be great if there would be any button to make a draw. Why on earth? He wants to flag me or what? Why on earth do we continue this game? Now I have an extra pawn. It's not like I should be the one to offer a draw. And also, if he offers me a draw, how do I know that he offered me a draw? I only need to take a look at the screen, but I see that he never offered me a draw. So I don't understand his strategy. Like, why on earth do you continue playing it? Okay, let me offer him a draw myself. But yeah, I have to use the computer for that. And he takes it, which I also don't really see on the board. But what I need to do, as far as I read in the manual, I have to press this start button 3 seconds for 3 seconds, and then the game should be over. Because now, like, the game on chess.com is over, but I'm gonna just make the pieces, and you see that it's green now everywhere. So that is something I haven't figured out yet, how, how to stop that. I can, of course, just turn off the entire board, and that should work as well. But anyway, that's not that important. I will be able to figure out properly how it works. The great thing is you need to figure out it once, like how to connect it to chess.com. I can't say it was 100% easy, but once I figured it out, it works pretty great. And I'm actually amazed. The first time I managed to connect it, I was so happy, so excited to try playing it. You do have to charge it from time to time. I'm not sure how much games I can play before it's going to be empty, the battery. But for now, it worked pretty great. I spent like 20 minutes playing this game, and that works pretty great. So overall, I can feel that I like this experience. I can see that it might be useful for you. That, oops, I don't need a second queen. That you can try playing on a real game, get that experience. If you don't really have an opportunity to go outside and find a player who can play against you of a, well, strong level, because I can also play against my level players, against grandmasters on a real board. So that would imitate real tournament games. For example, I have played a World Chess Rapid Team Championship this year, and if I had the board before that, I could have just go to chess.com, play some rapid games, and get a feeling for the time control, playing on a real board. I mean, that would be something very useful for me. If you don't play any over the board tournaments, however, then that might be a way for you to get a feeling of how it might look like. If you're ever curious, okay, what it actually looks like to play a game on a real board with a very strong opponent, then that is also a cool experience. And what else is great? I mean, I use the real chessboard so often to analyze my games, to solve some positions, to work with the books. But then when I'm over, I mean, all of those analyses are completely lost. Here, with this board, I have an opportunity to analyze everything I want and then save it as a PGM file and take a look at it with the engine to take a look at all of my variations. I don't need to manually do the same work, and that is very helpful. It saves a lot of time, but also gives me an opportunity to really analyze on a real board still. So here is my conclusion. You can use this board, and it can definitely be useful for your chess improvement. I can say that without this board, you're not going to be fine. You can't improve at chess. I mean, my example and the example of thousands of other chess players shows you can't improve your chess without such a thing, but it can be a very useful tool if you use it correctly. And of course, it excites you a lot. It can bring joy playing chess. It can bring something new, because when you play chess for a lot of years, it seems boring sometimes, and you just want to stop playing completely. But with such a device, you have some novelty, and our brain always craves for novelty. So that is why I feel very excited here today, trying this for the first time in my entire life. Thanks a lot once again for the Chessnut company for providing me with such a board. That was a very interesting experience, and I'm gonna definitely continue using it to play my games. Let me know in the comments what you think about such a board, whether you would like to use it, and whether you think it could be beneficial for your chess growth. Now, if you want to try it yourself and get one of those boards to your home, feel free to use the link in the description to get 15% off. That is a very generous offer. That's also an affiliate link, so you're gonna support me a little bit. Thank you very much for being with me today. That was a fantastic experience. Let me know in the comments if you want me to play more games on this real board. And now it's time to improve your chess.